Okay, so I'm going to talk about another cartoon battle. The first one I did was Peter Griffin versus Randy, and Peter Griffin won. And for this one, I'm going to talk about Ed from Ed, Ed and Eddy, that old cartoon, and Patrick Star from Spongebob. Now these two have to be probably the most stupidest characters of all time. They are probably the dumbest of the dumbest, and I would put them easily probably stupider than Peter Griffin, and he is absolutely one of the dumbest characters of all time. And Eddy is probably the dumbest all-time character, I think. If it comes to intelligence, Patrick during the shows actually brings up some good ideas just from his stupidness. Ed is just a complete dumbass, unfortunately. He has basically has nothing to offer when it comes to intelligence. And if they were going to fight, obviously intelligence wouldn't exactly be a factor in this. They would just attack each other. And if they were going to fight, when it comes to strength, it's hard to say who is stronger, because since they're both cartoons, they can do basically ever the hell they want. Patrick can lift freaking buildings up if he wants. Ed can lift a tree up, and he can freaking just because during the show, Eddy, Double D, Ed or whatever, they always have Ed do all the dirty work. Like they'll use him as a tractor, and he'll eat the ground, and he'll do all this crazy shit. Okay, and he could basically do whatever the hell he wants. He basically cannot be killed. Okay, and when it comes to Patrick, again, he's another tough son of a bitch to kill. Also, he can't die. He'll get the crap kicked out of him, and yet he may have some bruises and everything. But then, of course, in the next panel, they'll be all good, because since they're cartoons. But if it comes down to strength, I'd have to give this edge to Ed, due to the fact that I think he's done more. He's lifted up frickin' just huge trees, buildings. He literally eats the ground, and and if he could, I think he swam through land before too, and does all this crap. And also, depending on what versions of it, Ed also, there's an episode Ed had a rock in his shoe. In one episode, he was really just pissed off in a bad mood and just sat there, and everyone was trying to make him move. They were freaking hitting him with a whole bunch of random crap that are freaking metal, trees, and all this crap, and he would not move. And he had a rock in his shoe that was bugging him. A rock in his shoe. And that was basically bugging him. And he basically was in a pissed off mood. Okay? And basically they could not stop him or just anything for doing anything for it. Then there's also Patrick, when an episode when SpongeBob gave his Valentine's Day present was a handshake, that he started just attacking everyone in the fair, and basically no one could stop him there, and also everything. Other episodes, of course, when Patrick gets in a pissed off mood. But when it comes to speed, also, it probably has to go to Ed, due to the fact that he can just run, just probably has super fast speeds if he wanted to. If he wanted to. Same thing probably can go with Patrick, but I think Ed probably has more speed on him. And but this fight would be probably one of the funniest fights of all time, I think. It'd be hilarious. But when it comes to, if they're both going to fight each other, I'd have to give it to Ed. As much as I love Patrick, Ed would take it. Just the episode with the rock in his shoe just takes the cake on how no one could stop him or anything, nothing. And Patrick also will, in one episode, will wrestle SpongeBob, as they're freaking huge and muscular, and they'll wrestle the crap out of each other. But still, if him and Ed were going to brawl, Patrick would get in a few good hits, because sometimes he's a naturally freaking really strong guy. But Ed would eventually take it due to his overwhelming invulnerability to practically anything. So, yep, I declare Ed the winner.